เจมเป็นไรอ่ะ
ทำข้อสอบไม่ค่อยได้เลยอะ
คุยจริงหมอทำไมอ่ะ
จำรู้ว่าชื่อใช้ในตั้งแต่เว็บหนึ่งไม่ได้เลย
หมอก็ไม่เข้าใจหรอ
ไม่เข้าใจเลย
เขายังแก้คนไปแบบดราก้อนเดสแต่คุณเชนช่วยได้
ไปป่ะไปเอาไป
เฮ้ยเจม
ไปย่างกันไป
เจมไป
Inside the Dragon Descendants Museum, it was designed to present the history of 5,000 years Chinese civilization. Was divided into 18 rooms, including the story which led to the history Chinese. The first wave of Chinese immigration began in Qing Dynasty era, coinciding in Ayutthaya era. Sheng He was a sea route explorer after he has explored Southeast Asia region. Many Chinese merchants came to Southeast Asia region for trading. The products that Chinese merchants traded mostly were tea leaves, silk, and porcelain, and they also settled following the shipping routes such as settling in Malay Peninsula. That they also got married to local women by mixing their cultures, and they have inherited mixed culture until present, such as Peranakan. The second place is Yawala Chinatown Heritage Center, which is located at Wat Dry-Meet. The museum make us perceive about historical Chinese and mainly focus on overseas Chinese for the second wave of Chinese immigration, began in Qing Dynasty era. Losing in opium wars made many Chinese laborers go working abroad called Chinese contract coolie migration. About 5 million Chinese laborers settled abroad during the late 19th century to the early 20th century. They were the labor in the gold mine and agriculturalists. The third wave of Chinese immigration began after the powerless of Qing Dynasty in 1911, the turmoil in China and the revolution of Chinese Communist Party that made many Chinese move to the Southeast Asia region. The Chinese immigrants were educated and nationalism that you can see the association of clansmen and Chinese George houses for commemorating their hometown. And some of them hoped to go back to China when China was peaceful, but most of them couldn't go back because of the communism revolution in 1949. Over 10 million Chinese people moved to Southeast Asia, and in this immigration, many Chinese women moved to Southeast Asia as well. Chinese immigrants in this period were so nationalism that the Thai government had to limit a number of Chinese immigrants and use the policy allowing Chinese immigrants to be Thai citizens by legislating for Chinese who had lived in Thailand for a long time could get Thai nationality and a right like Thai citizen.
เหลือไว้สุดท้ายมันยังไม่เข้าใจ
เฮ้ยไปลองสัมภาษณ์หนูเลยสิ
โอเค
อะไรนะไม่ต้องไปไม่ต้องไปทำงานเยอะๆนะครับ มีเวลาเยอะๆนะครับแล้วอากาศสบาย
แล้วคิดว่าที่มาอยู่ไทยแล้วชีวิตดีขึ้นไหมครับ
ดีกว่าที่นี่
ไม่ทำไมดีกว่าล่ะครับ
ก็เป็นรีแลกซ์ชีวิตสบาย
ครับแล้วถ้าเลือกได้จะกลับไปทำงานที่จีนไหมครับ
ไม่
ทำไมล่ะ
จะอยู่ที่นี่เพราะว่าลูกเกิดที่นี่
ลูกเกิดที่นี่
ใช่มันมีสัญชาติไทยนะครับก็กลับรู้สึกว่ากลับไม่ค่อยดีครับไม่ได้สบายนะครับ
From the interviewing Chinese people, in the fourth wave, Chinese moved for the different purpose from the Chinese purpose in the previous wave, not because of refuting from war or poverty, but they moved for the better opportunity according to Deng Xiaoping's developing policy. Most Chinese in this wave will move to the developed country, such as European countries or America, but some of them move to Southeast Asia. The characteristic of Chinese immigrants in this wave are highly educated, go abroad and settle called foreign migrant for better opportunity in terms of economy, as well as a half of totally Chinese immigrants in this wave are women, such as students, business women, and servicers.
According to my dream, I visit Dragon Descendant Museum and Yawala Chinatown Heritage Center. It told me the history of overseas Chinese very well. The Ming Dynasty exhibition room in Dragon Descendant Museum told me Zheng He's history and his journey to Southeast Asia. That was the first starting point of Chinese immigration. Moreover, I learned the history of the first wave of overseas Chinese. I also learned the origins of Chinese culture, that some of traditions are still preserved and available in many Southeast Asia countries, such as Moon Festival, Dragon Boat Festival. In the last room of museum is Siamese Chinese, which told me the history of overseas Chinese in Thailand, which is the beginning of overseas Chinese wave, and we will go to study the following overseas Chinese wave. The second wave and the third wave were told through Yawala Chinatown Heritage Center, located in Trai Mitvitrayaram Temple near Wongvien Odeon regarded as the head of Yawala Road, which is the road of overseas Chinese life from the past to the present. Inside this museum shows the history of Chinese immigrants moving to Thailand since early Ratanakosin era, when Chinese immigrants settled in Yawala, that they gathered in community including Sampeng Market. This museum made me think about the rising of Chinese from the immigrant to the prosperity. This museum is alive because I can learn the history of Chinese immigrants inside this museum, and I also see the real way of Thai Chinese people's life in Yawala Road. History of overseas Chinese reflects me how great Chinese culture is, and it also tells me how Chinese culture was originated, evolved, and inherited through presence by Chinese descendants from generation to generation, spreading all around the world. That you can see that Chinese culture become the most influential cultures in Thailand, such as culture of cup and bowl and chopsticks. Is ancient Chinese culture that show me ancient Chinese folk knowledge, ancient Chinese art, ancient Chinese belief, as well as Chinese food cultures and traditions from ancient to the present. That is also regarded as the Eastern culture.
ขอโทษนะครับเหลือไว้เท่าไหร่ครับ
เหลืออีก
10 นาทีแล้วครับ
9 8 7 6 5 4 3 2 1 หมดเวลาออกค่ะเอาเต็มได้ปะ
ทำได้
เฮ้ยดีว่ะมากลับบ้านกัน
แดนดินแม่กันดานจิตวิญญาณของกงล่องลอยเก็บเสื้อมอนของใช้นิดหน่อยเจ้านกน้อยโผบินจากรังฝากคลื่นลมภูเขาทะเลขึ้นสำเภาที่ใกล้จะ